Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you to the 6th Sunday of Lent, otherwise known as the Palm Sunday or the Passion Sunday. On this Sunday, we are presented with two gospel readings. One which is taken before the procession into the church, and the other which is taken in the church. Why do we have two readings, two gospel readings on this particular day? In the early centuries after the death of Jesus Christ, Christians in Jerusalem prepared for the celebration of Easter by going to Mount Olives, reading the account of the triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem, and after that, proceeding to the holy city of Jerusalem. And the Christians in Rome prepared themselves for the celebration of Easter by reading the passion narrative of our Lord Jesus Christ. And centuries later, the church decided to bring these together as one celebration. And that is what we have today. Two gospel readings on this particular Sunday. The gospel which the church presents to us this year from the Gospel of Luke chapter 19, verses 28 to 40, tells us of the account of how Jesus, getting close to Jerusalem, sends two of his disciples ahead of him to an opposite city to bring a donkey which was tied. And he told them, when you are asked why you are untying it, tell them the master has need of it. They went, found it as Jesus had told them, and brought it to him. As they brought it to him, they spread their garments upon it and set Jesus on the donkey. And as he was moving, others spread their garments on the road for him to move on it. As he came into the city of Jerusalem, the inhabitants began to shout, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord." And hearing this, the Pharisees began to tell Jesus to silence his disciples, because this was going to cause war. And Jesus tells them, even if these should keep quiet, stones will rise and praise me. Looking into this account, we see that compared to other evangelists, the other gospels, Luke avoids the use of palm branches. Why did he have to do this? One of the feasts of the Jews was the Feast of Tabernacles, also known as the Sukkot. And during this feast, one of the things they used for the celebration were palm branches. It reminds them of their Exodus experience, their experience in the wilderness, where they built tents. And then, since Luke was writing to a Gentile community, this would be of no sense to them. So he avoids the use of the mentioning of palm branches. The first lesson we learn from this narrative is found in verse 31, where Jesus says, if they ask you, tell them, the master has need of it. The master has need of it. The essence of donkeys, like other beasts of burdens, is being used, not being tied to a particular place. Not being tied to a particular place. And in untying it, take note of it, in untying it, they were setting it into freedom. Because animals enjoy more freedom when they are free and not when they are tied in one place. So he was untied into its essence. He was untied into that for which it was made. And it also was untied into freedom. God is calling you today to untie that gift which he has given you. You have a particular gift that he has given you. You know the gift. Untie it for service unto God and unto humanity. In untying it, you are untying it into improvement. In untying it, you are untying it into development. In untying it, you are untying it for the good of humanity. Many are of the expectation of seeing your gifts being put into use. Are you ready to put that gift into use today? The second lesson we learn from this is that Jesus is not only a king, but a king of peace. Jesus, the king of peace. That Jesus sat on a donkey that had not been used by anyone is of great significance, because it was the right of kings at that time to sit on donkeys, on animals that have not yet been used. So that is very significant, as Jesus rides today on a donkey that had not been used by anyone. And then in the Old Testament, we see prophecies that are being fulfilled in this gospel narrative of today. In Genesis chapter 49, verses 10 to 11, we hear of the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until it comes to whom it belongs, and to him shall be the obedience of the peoples. Verse 11, he will bind his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. We see that being fulfilled in the gospel reading of today. Another part in the Old Testament that is similar to this is 1 Kings chapter 1, verses 33 to 34, where we read of David telling Zadok, Benaiah, and Nathan to take his son Solomon, set him on his own personal mule and drive him, let him ride to Gihon, and there let him be anointed. And this is what we see today. Jesus was made to sit on a donkey, just as it was done to Solomon. The disciples of Jesus sat him on this donkey. It has already been established. It has not already been established that Jesus is a king. But he is not only a king, but also a king of peace. And this is what we read in the prophecy of Zechariah, chapter 9, verse 9, which says, "Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem. Lo, your king comes to you. Triumphant and victorious is he, humble and riding on an ass, on a colt, the foal of an ass." So Jesus Christ is not only a king, but a king of peace. A king of peace. A king of peace. The king of peace. Are you ready to let him, the king of peace, come into your family and reign? Are you ready to invite the king of peace into your business? Are you ready to invite this king of peace into your heart, that it may reign, that he may reign? What answer do you have? And the third lesson we learn from this is the fact that the Pharisees told Jesus to silence his disciples. At that time, the Jews were under the rulership of the Romans, and then announcing a king in a kingdom that already has a king was going to be problematic. So the Pharisees had to say, Jesus, tell these people to keep quiet. There was peace. There was no war. There was no war. And the Pharisees wanted no war. But the peace which they enjoyed was false peace, the peace of endurance, not the peace of enjoyment. That was a false peace. But Jesus has come that we may have a true peace that can only come from him, the source of peace. So, are you ready to live that false peace? Is your peace attached to external factors? Are you dependent on external factors for peace? Are you dependent on alcohol? Are you dependent on drugs? Are you dependent on any other form of addiction for your peace? Jesus has come to you today. The source of true peace has come to you today. Invite him into your heart. Invite him into your family, and you will enjoy true peace. God bless you.
Ong shono kawa ma uhimini ko pasana